That's Marillion from the Midnight Rock Over London sessions. There's a few more of those in the can, right, Steve?
Yep. We've been just hammering away off the top of our heads. It's all acoustic stuff because we can get the drum kit over, but it's too technical.
That's the way we like it around here. So we'll have another one from those sessions a bit later in the programme. You've been recording, haven't you, for other people to hear as well as for us?
Yeah, the rest of the band is working with Chris Kimsey at the moment. We're recording a couple of new songs for a forthcoming album here in England, but we have the release of our Holidays in Eden album on IRS in the States, so we're looking forward to that and coming over and touring.
Right, it's been a while, hasn't it? Because it was last summer we were talking about the album that was out, just about to come out here.
Yeah, it has been a while. We sort of got a bit bogged down with the business aspect and which record label was going to put it out and all that, and in the end it took a lot longer than we'd hoped. And it always seems to be too long. You go over to America and you think, okay, well we'll be back in a 2-3 months, and then 18 months seems to go by.
Because the whole sort of throughout Marillion's history, and we've obviously been playing the band on the show, a long number of years, even before your time with them. Yeah, but great sort of tradition of people writing to us and saying, well, is this record out here, and how can we get hold of it, and why aren't they bigger, and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think Marillion, more than most bands, have always been very kind of support driven. I don't know, for some reason I don't think any of us understand. People latch onto the band and they kind of take it on as a crusade. Even in territories like here in Europe where the band's very well known, there's still it's almost like kids get so personal about it, and we get an awful lot of mail. We probably get more mail than any band that is outside the field of pop, rock bands, and they just get a hold of it and they take it to their hearts and they stay on it. So it's nice that they're keeping in touch with the radio stations.
Yeah, and they're very loyal, haven't they? And they've stayed with you right through the excuse me, your transition into becoming the lead singer.
Yeah, I still don't know how I got away with that.
Was that tricky at first? It must have been quite hard to get through that first few months with the band.
I think it could have been, but it was the rest of the band really. They're all they're not here, so I can talk about them. But they're listening.
They're listening somewhere, aren't they?
They're all very nice people, and no one in the band has an attitude problem. And so when the main reason I joined the band was because I liked the rest of the boys so much as people when I met them. And if ever I got a little bit nervous, they'd just say, "Oh, don't worry about this. It's a piece of cake. Just be yourself, and it'll be okay." And so they sort of bolstered me a lot. And the initial period of working together was such a sort of creative, sort of a watershed in a way that. None of us actually thought about what the outside world was going to think about it or react to it, because we all just felt very excited about the music we were making. It wasn't until we went out and toured that it hit me full in the face, and I just thought, oh my God, hang on a minute, what have you bitten off here? But when we got out on the road, and we toured all over the world, there wasn't even one show where anybody heckled me or gave me a hard time. And I was worried that I'd be treated as this person that had come along to ruin their favourite band, But most of the fans, if not all of them, seemed to treat me as this person who'd come along to stop their favourite band splitting up, which was something I hadn't anticipated, and something I'll be ever grateful for. And they've been terrific.
So the interesting comparison just occurred to me while he was saying that was with Deep Purple, who I saw. And they played live last time, and they've now got Joe Lynn Turner singing lead in what has always been Ian Gillan's role, and that was the opposite reaction there, because they really I had a real feeling at the show they did in London at Hammersmith that the fans didn't want him to be there. They really wanted it to be Ian, and it was like he was kind of spoiling the band's tradition somehow, So
yeah, well, I guess that could easily have happened, but I think that sort of starts to boil down to the reason that the fans are there, and I think the reasons the fans have been so loyal to this band is because they know that, I don't know, the band is sort of honest. We're not doing it for the money. We're not doing it out of any sense of keeping something that's already turned and running. We're doing it because we believe in it, and I think they could tell by the music that they'd heard we had gone on to make together that we meant it, and I think that can make a difference. You know, it's to do with belief and not betraying people's enthusiasm and people's trust, because there's a lot of people not just in the music business but in bands who actually insult the intelligence of a lot of their listeners, and it's a big mistake to make, because people aren't stupid, really.
Yeah. Okay, well, we'll talk some more later on. Have you heard much about this Little Village project?
Only a bit. I read about it in the newspaper the other day, and you know, I just read the lineup. I was like, oh, Rycood, Nick Lowe, Jim Keltner, bloody hell. So I also I think they were selling tickets for Hammersmith Odeon for £1, which caught my eye as well, because it was next to another advert for Prince, who was selling his tickets for
million quid,
£27.50 or something.
We'd better get down there.
So I thought, bloody hell, £1.
Yeah.
I didn't have time to go, otherwise I'd have gone and had a look, because these are obviously serious talents all working together, and so I think you can expect something a bit special.
Well, let's have a listen. It's Little Village on Rock Over London. Don't bug me when I'm working. Featuring a guest appearance by Steve Hogarth and Marillion on Bicycle Bell there. That's Little Village, and track from the album called Don't Bug Me When I'm Working. That's got Sonny Boy Williamson playing the part of the preacher on that track. What was your first impressions there?
What, of Sonny Boy Williamson?
Yeah, sort of the whole thing.
I thought he was a very convincing preacher,
yes.
and that wasn't me playing the Bicycle Bell, by the way. But
Sorry,
I did
folks.
like that guitar sound at the end.
Yeah.
Reminded me of Three Dog Night. Mama told me not to come, remember that one? Sort of sounded drunk all the time.
There's a track on the album here, I was going to read you the lyrics to. It's called Solar Sex Panel.
Yeah.
Which I think probably was written by John Hyatt, although the credits I like for the whole band, the whole thing. It says,
Solar Sex Panel.
yeah, it's got a fire up on top of my head. I'm a love regenerator. Why don't you get up off your tanning bed? I'm an ultraviolet penetrator.
Ah.
I don't
Subtle as a brick.
I think quite what he's on about there.
Subtle as a brick over the head, really.
Yeah.
Blood isn't chatting me up. That's all right.
Maybe this is why they can afford to do gigs for £1. Just going back to what you were saying about the recording.
I'd have got potato in there somewhere.
Yes, that's
anyway.
True. The stuff that you're doing now, the recording you're doing, is for a compilation thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's called Big Sex Thing All Over the Floor. No, I'm joking. It's called Six of One and Half a Dozen of the Other, which is a singles compilation. But I don't know if we're going to put it out in America, because we're just going with Holidays in Eden there. But it's a compilation of singles from over the years by the band. So it's got me singing, and it's got Fish singing as well, and it's got 2 additional tracks which are brand new. In fact, they're so new that we haven't even finished recording them yet. We're right in the middle of doing them. We're going to do a cover of a song called Sympathy, which was by a band called Rare Bird in the 60s, I think, or the very early 70s. And it's a lovely song.
Yeah.
It was my idea. I've been banging on about it since I joined the band, and they finally let me have my own way, and we've covered it. And I think we're making a really nice job of it.
So we might even hear that as a future single, possibly.
I hope so.
Yeah. Okay, it's Rock Over London. Steve Hogarth and Paul Sexton with you this week. And after the break, we've got the unlikely combination of the Trogs with most of REM, which we're tittering about already. We've got Billy Bragg live, recorded last New Year's Eve, and loads more good stuff, including some more Acoustic Marillion a bit later on. Rock Over London. REM project for a long time on Rock Over London. Here's the first results, the first single. This is called Don't You Know. Fuck of REM, but not Michael Stipe. It's the Trogs, and the first single from the album Athens and Over. It's called Don't You Know. And I'm going to embarrass Steve Hogarth by asking him a question while he's taking his slurp of coffee there. Well done. You were telling me you once worked with somebody who was on the Trogs tapes, the infamous, totally unbroadcastable Trogs tapes, is that right?
Yeah, I was managed by a chap called Dennis Berger for a while, and he's actually on the tape. Yeah. I didn't realise he was on the drugs tape at the time he was managing me, otherwise I might have thought twice.
He omitted to mention that.
Yeah, oh God.
Was that pretty much early days in your career?
Yeah, it was when I was about 6.
Yeah.
When I was first making my forays into the business.
15 years ago now.
Schlepping up and down Piccadilly with bad songs under my arm.
Because anyone who heard our chat on the show last year might remember that we were talking on that occasion about your previous band, Marillion, which was How We Live, and particular, a couple of songs of theirs that we championed on the show to no great avail, unfortunately.
Why they?
Is that it's a sort of period of your career you know, best forgotten, do you think, or is it?
Oh, absolutely not from the point of view of the music that we made at the time. I mean, it's best remembered, really. But it was a difficult period from my own personal point of view. Just because, you know, I'd written and recorded what I thought was quite an important album for me, if not for the rest of the world. And it was sort of released into a vacuum. You could actually hear the earth going as it vanished. You know.
But it did produce a song called Dry Land, which showed up on the Marillion album, didn't it?
Yes, it did. Yeah, we were about to record Holidays in Eden, and Chris Neal, who was producing the album, heard the song by mistake and did a backflip. He liked it a lot, and he sort of cajoled us into recording it. And I'm glad we did, because I think we beat it, actually, which surprised me, because you can't usually beat originals. But I was very pleased with what the band did with it.
Mm. Okay, you a Billy Bragg fan at all?
I sort of respect the fact that he's very honest and very upfront. So I'm a fan in that respect, and I love that song. I like that song New England that Kirsty covered.
Kirsty MacColl, yeah.
And They Don't Know About Us. Was that one of his as well? That's a great
I think that actually was a Kirsty MacColl tune, I believe.
Was it?
Yeah.
Well, I was never sure whether he'd done it or not. But yeah, he's written some good songs, and he's obviously a very honest, no-nonsense sort of chap. He says what he believes in. He wears his heart on his sleeve, and you know, I think there's not enough people in the world that do that. You know, I don't agree with all his politics, but you know, it's good that he's very upfront about it. It's good to believe in something, and you know, and as long as you don't force it down people's throats. So.
Well, here he is in action, recorded live. This is the in-concert version of the new single, Accident Waiting to Happen.
Accident waiting to happen.
Recorded live at the Hackney Empire in London on New Year's Eve last year, in which case if it was New Year's Eve, I think the audience hadn't quite got into the swing of it at that stage, had they? A little bit on the quiet side. Billy Bragg, and that's the live version of the new single, Accident Waiting to Happen. Who are some of the bands you listen to these days, Steve? What sort of stuff do you...
Cool. Psychedelic Furs, Blue Nile, big fan. Who else? I don't know, I guess, what I've been listening to lately. I've been listening to Joni Mitchell again lately. She did this album called Dog Eat Dog that Thomas Dolby produced about, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago. And I think it was... I don't know, everybody kind of swept it under the carpet a bit, and I think including her. I don't think she was very happy with it, but I think it's a brilliant album, so I've been listening to that again.
Yeah, have you heard the most recent one, Night Ride Home?
Yes. Yeah.
It's good too.
Oh, she's just a phenomenal talent.
You have to listen a lot, don't you? But it's kind of, you know, you get there in the end with her.
Probably the woman I'd most like to meet. If you're out there listening, Joni, steer clear of me, because if I ever meet you, I'll just sort of go, and won't know what to say.
Well, coming up a bit later this hour, we've got the new album by Manic Street Preachers. We've got the James LP as a strong track from that album. But right now, this is a band from Solihull. They're called Ocean Colour Scene. With a song called Yesterday Today, and that's Ocean Colour Scene, their new single, Sway. And so they're from Solihull, been around for a while. Do you like the sound of that?
Yeah, I quite like the sound of that.
Yeah? Take one of those?
Hey?
You'll take one of those?
Yeah, I'd go and have a look at them.
Yeah. In fact, that's what I'm going to be doing before the next edition of the programme. I have seen this band live, so I shall report back and see what they're like. In fact, they're playing at the Borderline, where I know you've played there a couple of times, haven't you? Around the corner from here.
Yeah, it's a tiny little place.
Yeah. What sort of venues are you playing on the American dates, Jim?
Tiny little places, actually.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, around about 1,000 capacity size. They're not tiny little places, are they? I'm just being...
A little tinier than you used to here, though.
Yeah, a bit small, but it's not fair to call 1,000 seaters tiny, is it? No, the band's never really broken in the States, but maybe this time.
Yes.
Maybe this time. I'm looking
do.
forward to it. It's nice to play in slightly smaller halls, because, you can see the whites of their eyes and all that, all those cliches that people go on about, but they are true.
Yeah.
Get a bit hotter and get a bit nearer to people. It's nice.
That's right. Well, we've got another taste of Marillion live and acoustic in just a second. Paul Sexton and Steve Hogarth on Rock Over London.
Steve Hogarth, Rock Over London with Paul Sexton. This is another thing we recorded in the room next door. This is Easter.
Easter, that's Marillion, live on Rock Over London, and we do mean live, don't we? It's the real thing.
Cool, yeah. No additives or colouring or fiddling with.
Yeah.
That's why I'm singing so awfully.
Talking of live, this is a band who've, I don't know if you know much about them, Steve, they've really built up their following through, doing an awful lot of work live. It's Manic Street Preachers from Wales.
Uh-huh.
And, well, get a load of this, get an earful of this. It's called Tennessee.
Right.
I believe that's the end. It's called Tennessee by Manic Street Preachers. Pretty wild and woolly stuff.
I like the ending. Yeah, I like the energy.
You like the ending because it meant that the record had finished, is that what you're saying?
No, I like the energy. I think it's good to hear that kind of energy on a record.
Good. Pleased to hear that. Okay, we've got one more section of the show to go this week. James, their new album coming up. Track from that.
Oh, I like their T-shirts.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, we'll try and put one of those on the turntable and See what happens. Another new band called My Jealous God that we haven't played on the show before, and then we got the Rock Over London Rock #1. Stay with us. Well, what is so good about these James T-shirts?
Oh dear. I just bought one about 3 years ago before I'd heard of the band. I had a nice flower on the chest, and it said JA on the front, which looked like which seemed like a very positive Germanic thing to be saying. So I bought one. I was walking around in it for ages before I'd even heard their music. So good shirts.
Okay. Well, from the T-shirt of the same name, this is James, and from the new album, it's called Ring the Bells, and whose time really has come. The album's called 7. And the band is James. Like we were saying while it was playing, Steve, full marks for perseverance there. They've been sort of working away at it for about 8-9 years now. Finally broken through.
Yeah, it's good. It's good they've managed to do that. Yeah, it's often very difficult. You get dropped by a record label, not to end up, ceasing to be able to function. You no longer have a van, to drive your equipment around in. You've usually sold your PA, so you end up splitting.
Yeah, giving up the day job. It's Rock Over London, Paul Sexton, and my co-host this week, Steve Hogarth from Marillion, who is going to tell you all about the next track. Well, he's going to tell you what it's called, anyway.
This is Easy by My Jealous God.
6, and await again.
Easy, My Jealous God, from an album coming out in Idiot's Bore. That's a band called Jim. Remember that one?
Yeah, I like that.
So, overall, it's more than you haven't liked, I think.
Yeah, things aren't quite so desperate as we might have thought.
It's sort of reassuring for you a bit, maybe.
No, I think it's good.
Yeah. All right, we've got one more to go. It is, as always, the Rock Over London Rock #1, and cover your ears, here come the Jesus and Mary chain. To Rock Over London Rock #1, it's called Reverence, and it's only their second ever national top 10 hit in Britain, so perseverance pays off again, Steve.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, just before we go, I've got one more task for you to perform this week. It's to say hello to a brand new station taking the show this week for the first time.
Yeah, I'd like to say hello to anyone who's listening to us on The Wolf, 101.5 FM, Central Ontario's new home of rock and roll.
Said with true authority. You've done a masterful job today, might I say.
I was busking. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you very much, and pass on our very best to the rest of the band, and many thanks for that tremendous acoustic session as well.
Thanks. Could I just say to anybody who's out there listening, come and say hello when we're touring in America. We'll be there at the end of March and early April.
Okay. All right, Steve. Just mention that the way to get in touch with us on Rock Over London, of course, is to write to us at PO Box 31, London SW1E5HA. And in return for valuable consideration, the official courier company of Rock Over London is TNT Skypack. They're the couriers we use to take our important packages where they need to be fast. So that's it. Next week on the programme, I shall be having a bit of a chat, as much as one ever can, with the Jesus and Mary chain, so don't miss us on that one. Once again, thanks to Steve, and from me, Paul Sexton. Ta-da.
Bye-bye. Mike Tyson's head felt like when he got